The Allies eventually won World War II. And how did they do it?
Teamwork. And it was amazingly enough the teamwork of a nation. It included, of course, teamwork in local groups. Of course, it was very necessary in military organizations to have teamwork. But this was a case of enormous amount of teamwork.
And this teamwork helped bring lives to millions of people who otherwise would have been lost forever in Nazi concentration camps, such as Wöblin, Auschwitz, and Dachau.
I was in Dachau, the first American woman in Dachau after the war. Wow. And what I saw will never leave me. When I wrote to my family, they wrote back and said, very interesting, but you don't have to be so dramatic. I could never be dramatic enough for what I saw.
Laszlo Berkowitz was born on February 29, 1928, in Hungary. At the age of 16, he and his family were sent to a Nazi concentration camp. During the next year, he saw enough tragedy for 100 lifetimes. But then, one May morning in 1945, a miracle happened.
About 9 o'clock, and at 11 o'clock, a jeep pulled in with 2 American GIs. They were on patrol. They didn't know there was a camp like that, but it smelled so bad from far away because there were a lot of dead people, lying on the ground. So they said, we found you, and we called back the headquarters and said, there's a camp here, come on down. They'll be here in the afternoon. So a big truckload of GIs came and gave us chocolate, heavy bars of chocolate. It was glorious, it was victorious, and 82nd Airborne liberated us. Fantastic. If God sent down angels from the sky, they couldn't have been any better than these guys.
Many of these people were welcomed into the United States, where they made lasting contributions to their new home.
We had no parents, came to America, and all college graduates. One became a PhD in physics at MIT in Brandeis. One became a builder of upstate New York. One became a professor of psychology, University of Arizona. I became a rabbi, built a community. Not too bad.
These contributions and the millions of lives saved by the Allied victory in World War II would not have been possible without the everyday heroes on the home front and on the front lines in the European and Pacific theaters.
We made history.
History doesn't just happen. You make history.
As they say, history repeats itself, and it does. And unfortunately, we seem to make similar mistakes over and over and over again, and not learn from history as we should. So when kids get history lessons, it's not an ugh subject. It's something that you really should be listening to, because first of all, it's an interesting story if it's presented properly. It becomes an exciting story if it's presented properly, and it has so many lessons in it that you should be able to absorb and carry forward, and then look back when something's happening and say, now this happened before, and this was done, and it came out okay, or no, it came out terrible, so we should do it differently. History gives you a lesson, learn from the lesson, and apply it.
The world is not always a kind place, and so but this is the only world you and I get to live in, so you better learn how to roll with the punches. Yeah. The life deals you all kinds of opportunities that are kind of exciting, kind of fun, but they're always building.
The values important in the 1940s are still very important today.
I would like all generations, but particularly the younger generations coming up, develop a sense of patriotism. The country is not perfect, but it's pretty doggone good. We don't want to lose that.
be honest. Be good to your parents. Listen to them. And maybe some old guys like me, too, to listen to find out what it was really like.
Listen to your parents. I don't think they're always right, but they always want to be right. But many times they are, from the experience that they've had.
Well, I think you should listen to various viewpoints all the time. My view on something may be different from yours, but maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle.
You continue doing this. You bring home the good marks, and someday you'll realize how important that was.
Make all the friends you can. I mean, not just your classmates, not just your neighbors, not just the guy across the street, maybe the guy across town, maybe the guy next to you in a bus. You don't really need to make enemies, they'll find you, but you handle all the friends you possibly can, and then have all the fun you can.
Get away from selfishness. You're looking out for the other guy. You're not trying to beat your people down, you're trying to help people up.
Treat each other with respect. Respect one another. Enjoy life.
Whatever you dream, you can do if you remember to keep that as your goal.
To be true to yourself and to be true to your country.
Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. You have to get the education, but don't follow other people and other people's advice. Do what you want to do.
You got to learn to share and share with everybody. There's going to be some people that are going to get in your way, but that's okay. Ignore them.
You never know what's good for you. Sometimes things look terribly bleak, but over time these things change, and what may have looked terrible might have been just the thing that saved you.
You've got to get your education, bottom line.
The point is that I prayed not for the end of the war or to get home, but for what right then was more important. One more sunrise. You got one today, you got a sunrise. You're probably going to get another sunrise tomorrow. But the life that you live, your experiences you're going to have, are in this box. So I would like to suggest that you take every advantage for this day to first of all learn all you can. You never know when it's going to come in handy.
We made history.
We made history.
We made history.
We made history.
We all made and make history.
Now it's your turn.